This is a carburetor replacement for a Sthil FS55R weed whacker. So far I've taken off the cover, the air filter just pops out of there, and a 5/16 nut here. I'm going to take this one off here. This is the kit we're going to replace it with from Amazon. I'll put a link to it on the bottom. It was just about $15. The contents are a complete tune-up kit, new gas lines, new carburetor, a couple new primer bulbs, new sparkulator, filter for the fuel, and a filter for the air. So I took off those two nuts. Now you can see the carburetor. It is loose. It'll slide off of these two studs. And then disconnect the fuel lines and the throttle cable, which winds around to here. So I just slid the gas lines off with the small tip of a small screwdriver. They slid right off. And there's just a little ball in the throttle cable that's going to come right out of that slot, and then this whole carburetor will slide off. And I just rolled up a paper towel, stuck it inside the hole so I could wipe off all the munge and pull this out of the gas tank. Now it's been sufficiently demunged. You can probably just pull on this or get your fingernail under there. I got a little hook and a flat screwdriver I'm just going to put underneath there and pop this up. Okay. Now that should come up with your fuel line and your fuel filter. Here's the new gas line. I just kind of wetted the end of the filter. It's got that little barbed fitting on there. And I slid it in there. Now everything's going to go back in the hole, but I'm going to give it another quick wipe down. I'm going to squirt this with a little WD-40 just to help that slide in and seal a little bit better. Okay, you can't see it very well, but I took a long pair of hemostats, these, and grabbed a hold of that line way down by the filter. Basically this spot, and shoved it and kind of wedged it way down at the deepest part of the tank. And that'll let it draw as much gas as possible. Now I'm just going to push the rest of this in. Now we got that in. I had to keep pushing that down and pushing the lip into the tank with a thin bladed screwdriver. I already wiped down the mating surface. I'm going to put the gasket on, then the carburetor. Okay, so here's the carburetor gasket with the two holes goes in first. Okay, there's the throttle cable right there. I kind of held the throttle at about half throttle to get enough slack in that cable to put it in. I'm just going to release that. Bend my gas lines out of the way. Push the carburetor on. There's really only one configuration for these gas lines, otherwise they won't fit. The longer one goes to the top, shorter one goes to the bottom. I'm going to twist this gasket to get the best kink-free setup for this hose. Well, I did rotate that a little bit. Now we got this hooked up. Last is my second gasket. Followed by the cover. Okay, my cover fell on the floor. So the next thing is the cover. My glasses on so I can see what I'm talking about. And that nut. And the other nut. Okay, so tighten the left and right side down. A little bit left, a little bit right, a little bit left, a little bit right. So you torque it down so it lays nice and flat. Put the new air filter in. Put this back in. Now, the reason that we changed this is the carburetor would no longer respond to any adjustment of the carburetor screws, the fuel mixture of the air screws. So we're going to put some gas in here, fire it up, and see if it runs with factory adjustments or if it needs to be tuned. There we go. I added some fuel. Fired it right up. So again, the reason we changed it, the carburetor would not react to any adjustments. It would not start. It was running when I got it started, run like shit. So new carburetor from Amazon right out of the box. Started on the 4th pull. Idled nice. Now it's time to go to work.